Thank you very much Murito wa GTN TV. Nitoigira thĩinĩ wa ndereti na ina wa studio ni akinya all the way from Chiga. Ni njamba ya kuria Chiga kuria mwena wa Uthaya. Korwo rwe county secretary thĩinĩ wa county ya Nyeri na ni atwarithitie Nyeri wega. Muthuri muhoreri, muthuri wikaraga na andu, very simple and very humble. Na ni agĩukaga gũkũ mitambo-inĩ akanjĩra wa ithaka ni njita ndamwĩta agetĩka. Ni ndamwĩta twarie maũndũ matiganĩte horo wĩgie mũikarĩre witũ, mwĩcirĩrie witũ, mwĩkĩre witũ wa maũndũ tũrĩ o harĩa twarĩ kana nĩ tũgũcenjia. Hihi maũndũ maya twĩkaga na ũrĩa twĩkaga nĩguo kwagĩrĩire. Makĩria ithuĩ tũraria rũthiomi rũu tũraria Africans, hihi tũhana atĩa? Nĩ mũtaaramu na nĩ mũthomu. By the way, horo wĩgie gĩthomo tũngĩaria gĩaku CV yaku ĩ igũrũ mũno.
No kugeria. In the last 30 years,
yes,
Gwiciria educated university courses, about 15 of them.
15 university courses?
Yes.
Yeah? Matathi mwe failo-ini?
Imwe ndiĩkaga cia exams. Iria ibataraini ni ũndũ wa my career.
Yes.
Icio irĩ failo-ini.
Yes.
No kũrĩ ingĩ njĩkaga ta for knowledge,
yes,
for research, for self-actualization, for self-understanding,
yes,
and for leadership, for policy,
yes,
like subject imwe discussaga na andu kona tutiranyitana nĩ nyamũ ĩtagwo cosmology,
yes,
or astrophysics. That is the or quantum mechanics, the physics and the science of the big picture of the universe. It's called cosmology, and the science of it, of the evolution of the universe, is called astrophysics. The big thing, the bigger picture is cosmos, but the other universe which we don't understand is called quantum mechanics. For example, nĩigua mũndũ angĩrora microscope akauga nĩ arona a cell, nĩ arona bacteria kana kĩ.
Yes.
Kana the body, everything we have is made of atoms.
Yes.
Nĩkĩo igua tũkĩaria ũhoro wa atomic energy. So what if you can't see an atom, but if you divide your cell, it's made of atoms. The question is, everything is made of atoms.
Yes.
If you divide an atom, which is very small, this is to a billion things, what do you get? You divide it, divide. An atom, you divide it to a billion things. What do you get? That is the universe of the small mechanical physics, quantum mechanics. And that's where now the change of that is undergoing in the world to do in artificial intelligence.
Yes.
Is discovering that power of quantum mechanics.
Yes.
And that's where we are now going to nanotechnology. These are things you don't know, of course, because of ignorance. We used to call ghosts. Do we what?
You are ignorant.
Yes, but today the artificial intelligence is using nanotechnology.
AI.
AI, artificial, and that is the future. Yes.
Future is AI.
Yes. If we don't understand it,
yes.
What happens in change mechanics is that if you don't change with the changing situations, then changes you.
If you don't change will change you.
Yes, which could mean extinction.
Tena nyambe gunengera kamera kwina andu matwiroreire mekuria Kagisha, angi me Mathira, angi me Shaka, na nĩ makuonete, angi matire makuona.
Yes.
Kamera nĩ yaku aba witamburukie tukumenye.
Thank you, Samuel Waithaka, my friend.
Yes.
Ndageithia andu a Nyeri, andu Uthaya. Ndimere nyuma kuria Nyeri kiroko na nĩ kuraura. Nĩ mageithio nĩ Mheshimiwa His Excellency Governor Mutahi, doctor, doctor, and he's neamedete kujira ndo anyire muthuri ucio tiga matoe na ndimeraga they don't know that muthuri ucio, for the time I have known him, he really loves people of Nyeri. Dali udoge shiragi. So Yamagedia, and we are happy for that. So
we are not allowed to.
We are not allowed to. Kuraura leu. Dumakehade.
Nyere kinyeta ko tukinyeta ko. Tuesawa kana.
Tuesawa. Of course, we have a problem of allocation that the budgetary allocation we get from the national government. Besha nisiyatinirio na besha isho itinetio na ego affect generally, but we are trying to have discussions to see what are the priorities we can do and run away with them. But there is a huge budget that was cut by the National Allocation Committee.
A very huge?
Yes, about 500 million.
Itiroka?
No, it won't come. That will affect some of our
expectations.
We shall prioritize change. We have been discussed. That discussion, I think, is in the counter assembly.
Yes.
They are trying to prioritize. But we have resilience. We are strong.
Tatuhegi hii kulina adumatakiri mata ukirone maundu ma devolution wega county secretary no hasa then wa counties. Who is a county secretary? Kitekira wikareire.
County secretary power position yake is unit hale devolution act. Well, of course there are those, the constitution designs the role of national government and the role of the county government, the devolved system.
Yes.
Within the devolved system, the mathondekire watho witagwo ukoragwo thĩinĩ wa act ya devolution act. It powers and roles of the people who manage the county government. There is the role of the executive, there is the role of the county assembly, there is the role of the county public service board. In me, I'm in the executive. The executive is, of course, the governor, the deputy governor, the CECs, and the public service. So I am, as a county secretary, I'm head of the civil service, the technical staff now. Is my job. Except the governor, of course, and the executive. Yeah, the public, what we call the public service.
Oh.
Yeah, the technical service. Well, the power is given by the EXCOM. EXCOM is the executive committee, which is chaired by the governor. So the power actually belongs to the governor. Mimi ni mtu yake ya mkono ya kufanya ile mambo yote. That I'm trained as an administrator, as a public administrator. So anything to do with the public issues, that is what I bring on the table.
He no kona problem gushare your experience ukoretwo kiuta wira kundu kuhana ate thino fururi utugatete hana.
I have worked in the national government from 1985.
National government? Yes.
I've worked in basically the office of the president, but the office of the president goes to, it has departments like police and so on. It has the National Youth Service and so on. It has got field services. That's where my experience actually is, because I have worked as a Madio. I've been a DO for many years, and I've worked in many provinces. I've worked in Nyanza, I've worked in Rift Valley, I've worked in Coast, I've worked in Nairobi, I've worked even in Central. I've worked Eastern Province, and I've worked basically in all the borders. I know the borders of Kenya.
Mehakaine ha.
Gutiri hadu muhaka itoe.
Nginya gukodiro nire areka muhaka kale kule Tanzania ndika nena maga.
Yes.
Ndronire gwakitwo nyumba cia nginya ati ni rabu irathondekwo ya expand asia kurefia. Nirathomire kanya mutaka.
Ni ukora this is what we call international crime.
Na hii tondu wina experience una tunanathie kuraihu. Experience yo yaku ya gutungatira different parts of this country. maundu megie mihaka itu gukorwo ndikorwo na security njega nikigiria na mbere kana no vipindi
is a need to serious.
Why?
Number one, mihaka ĩyo yekirirwo ni mukoroni arbitrary ni undu wa interest ciake ti citu.
Mukoroni
no wekirire mihaka ĩyo nekaga na rura hau ni kinya hau ni gwakwa, kinya hau ni kwa Germany, kinya hau ni kwa Britain, kinya hau ni kwa Italian. Magaire kundu gwetagwo Berlin Conference in 1884. Makiuga keki ĩno itagwo Africa ni tumigae, otherwise ndui ni marwaga ndwacio ni bara. Europe has always been fighting because ni andu greedy, selfish, kiuga riu hari gakeki tuona kuria getagwo Africa kari na indo tondu haruthi kuturaganira ku andu acio monage turi andu primitive ni to agree no kuya keki. That's why they called the Berlin Conference in 1884. Makiga keki haha itagwo Africa, makimigayana Belgium, Britain, Germany, France, Portugal, all those countries makigaya keki. Riu mihaka mekagira kuri ore ungigaya keki ya birthday
niguo kwagaya go Africa
niguo yagairwo we are suffering from even today. We have not changed, and this is the problem.
Warora wega ta ni tugucoka hau tondu tukurora kana hi ithuĩ ta Africa kuma rĩrĩa twakiamũkĩrire wĩyathi ta bũrũri witagwo Kenya tukinyĩte ha nginya thaa ici kĩ mwĩcirĩrie witũ kana tũkwamĩte o harĩa. But before anything else, gũthoma ngathĩti ndona cancer nĩ kũnina andũ na ndona nĩ wega ngũrie tondu ũrĩ public service na wĩna interest ya mũingĩ gũkorwo ũgĩikara wega. Mũrimũ wa cancer tũngĩũtoria atĩa na county nĩ ireka ũrĩa kwagĩrĩire kana thirikari nĩ ireka ũrĩa kwagĩrĩire kũhonokia mũingĩ?
Thank you. That is a serious problem. Cancer is a very serious problem in this country, particularly in this region. Ya Mount Kenya, cancer is a problem. It's a lifestyle.
Yes.
Ni lifestyle problem. Lifestyle ni kumaanisha ni murimu umanaga na muturire witu. Kule hindi ndoragia athuri aria agikuyu moyo horo wa ugikuyu proper. Muria jikite research na ndirona answer. Tajira ya atiri ritwa cancer na gikuyu ni kuga atia. Ajirie gutiere tutiere na rito tondu gutiere murimu ucio. Muria waumire ku. Murimu ucio okire na mukoroni riria twambire twatigire unduire witu wa mirire tugithie duka. Riu kiria tuguraga duka nikio kiturehagira cancer tondu our body DNA itu ndimenyerete guthia indo icio cithondekeirwo factory. Turiaga indo ciumite migunda ciumite mai-ini
niguo mĩrĩ ĩno ĩhana.
Yes, DNA itu ndire na power kana ndire na kinga ya kuhota kurua na maundu macio tondu ithuĩ mĩrimũ tutimenyerete kuria irio ciumite cithondeketwo na chemical cithondekeirwo factory. Turiaga indo ciumite nature tĩri-inĩ mai-ini direct turaga iwia we are spiritual people. We live in nature. That is the power of the African people.
Murimu ũngĩũrio tondu nĩ wĩkĩte research njega na wĩna a lot of knowledge na know how ya maundu matiganĩte andũ mangĩteithĩka atĩa rĩu tũhatarĩ thirikari andũ mangĩteithia atĩa?
Gũtirĩ ndawa ya mũrimũ ũyũ. We have to go back to the source. We have to eat what our body can manufacture, can assimilate. Ukigethia ukiria poison then it will poison you. We have to reverse it. We have to eat the diet that our body. Now scientists have done a lot of research, biologists. Na makauga don't eat this food, don't eat this food. And I tell people makona tare jokes.
Yes.
People are dying of eating too much. Bere kuri hedera kuri kundu andu makuwa ni undu wa ng'aragu. One of the issues of moral issue of suffering is hunger. People dying of starvation and famine. But actually today we are eating too much, and that is what is killing us.
Andu malaria muno.
Eating much you see, eating too much is poison. Too much of anything is poison. When you eat too much sugar is good kidogo, lakini ukikula zaidi it's poison. Yes.
Tukiaria horo wigie hasa ni field ile ko hasa tondu nini njwe nweta maundu megie science muno githomo gia science nini njwe ni weka a lot of research kuma ria twaheirwo wiathi as a country for you wito so many years ago, we are talking of 60 years ago for you wito twiha andu ni macenjetie mwekera wa maundu ka turi haria twatigirwo ni muthungu.
Thank you. Bwana Ithaka, nĩ ndakũgwetera ũhoro wa Berlin Conference 1884 ĩrĩa yakĩgaire keki.
Yes.
Nĩguo gĩthondekirwo Kenya. Na UN na mabũrũri marĩa mangĩ ma Afrika nĩ ũkĩmoĩ. In 1964 twaheo uhuru. Tugire maũndũ maigana matatu. Tunine ignorance, tunine mĩrimũ na tunine umaskini. Now, 65 years after independence, are we worse or are we better? Na mirimu. So, if after 60 years we are worse, then that means that we missed the boat. Something is wrong.
What is wrong?
We were set up. I tell people, because I've really studied Ngugi wa Thiong'o, and I keep on telling people, we have to revisit Ngugi. Ngugi has been telling a story which we don't listen. Ngugi has been telling us, ni twateire ikinya rĩrĩa twateire mũthũngũ agĩtũhe kacha yake tũgĩthiĩ nayo na tũgĩte itu. That's where we got lost.
Tũgĩte ũndũire witũ wa Mũgĩkũyũ.
Yes. Who are you? And I keep on asking you either.
Ithuĩ twĩ
uri mũthũngũ kana uri Mũgĩkũyũ.
Andũ aingĩ nĩ athũngũ a Gĩkũyũ.
So who are we?
Na nginya thaa icio
ona Mũgĩkũyũ augaga ndũrĩ rũa na ndũrĩ njagatha. Who are you?
Hii nĩ rona ta makĩria Mũgĩkũyũ angĩcoka gacĩra kau ka mwĩkĩro wa maũndũ wa nahau kabere kana hii century no igua thaa ici tũrĩ na maũndũ maretwo artificial intelligence, AI nĩ ũkire, technology nĩ move very fast. Na ona tũngĩcoka karaini kau kana hau mbere. Technology.
Of course, no. We tutirauga technology nĩ njũru because technology is doesn't belong to the Europeans or to Americans or to Japanese.
Yes.
European technology change is permanent. Na ni ya kila mtu. Change is the only known thing. There is change going on all the time. The question is, how do we know how to manage the change? Yes, that's the question.
Yes.
So we change, but we must know who are we. Are we white people? Are you Europeans? Or are we Africans? Then run away with it. We have to do self-rediscovery and do the necessary reconstruction. Ukiona ule fundi wa nyumba ni uraka nyumba wathi wona handu ni yakwama, you do some demolition, some reconstruction, some redesign, then you realign and move on. So we must also realign and rediscover, self-rediscovery. Who are we in Africa? Who determines what we are? Our environment, our culture. For example,
yes.
Waithaka ndũngĩkorwo ũrakope mũndũ umĩte Northern Europe kũndũ gũtũraga snow ice for 6 months.
Ndĩmũkobie maũndũ make.
Akaga nyũmba ihana atĩa? Ihana itimu. Nĩkĩ? Tondũ snow nĩ gũikara igũrũ wa mabati. Rĩu akaga ũguo nĩguo snow ĩgoka ĩkagwa. Nawe ũrĩ Afrika tondũ wakope mũthũngũ ono tareciria ugako nyumba ehana ugu na gutikoragwo wise you are not thinking.
Yes, do you think githomo giki turathoma thaa ici nĩ gĩgũteithia andũ kwĩmenya tondũ nĩ insist andũ memenye tutige gwĩka maũndũ ũrĩa mũthũngũ eka our education system nĩ gũteithia ciana ici iroka na makiria kũritũra andũ?
It is that is what we are saying. Agĩkorwo mĩaka 60 tutirete haturarĩ na niguo twaugire ri no ngirora bururi ta Singapore ma usire our own system today 60 years down the line. Singapore is 60 times wealthier than Kenya. The income per capita of Singapore is 60 times that of Kenya. And they used our sessional paper number 10 of 1965. They ran away with it. Ours we put in the shelf. So we have to go back to what Goge Wadiongo has been saying. Decolonize the mind. And then that decolonizing the mind means that, you see what happened in independence. Mudhogo realized that, and this is a history we need to really discuss. What really happened? After the Second World War, the Europeans, the Western world realized that there is something very dangerous that is happening, and if they don't act, they are going to be wiped out by communism.
Yes.
They realized that the communist China and Russia was targeting the freedom fighters of the colonies and giving them power to fight the powers, the colonial powers.
Yes.
So to fight that, they said, you have to give independence to the colonies. So start identifying people who can provide leadership and train them. Nikio wakionire andu magitwara Ruraya magagitrainwo magacoka finally magatha na Africa. They were deliberately
they
were set up, of course.
We know
that is what Goge Wadiongo talks about, but we don't read it. Africa, they were children of slaves. They were brought up in slavery of colonization. Where were they decolonized? The woman took a different. Where? Show me one leader in Africa who was decolonized. Where? They were just playing, they were just perpetuating the ideas of the master.
Na nigetha tucoke haria andu aria matuneanire tukiambia gwika maundu uria hi tutari guo turi na nikio kiratuma andu aingi nginya mirimu ta eno igiuke tondu ithuĩ thaa ici breakfast yungirora ya Mũgĩkũyũ thaa ici hari maria nyamu ile mekawa eno menene ungithie ukoraga Mũgĩkũyũ araria ta Mũthũngũ hari nake ũrĩire ngima ya mabe yake na uko na nĩguo maundu mau no maratuthumbura na mĩkĩre itu ya maundu. Our education system hani ho ndiracoka introduction ino ya CBC ri nego tuteithia kwimenya kana bado tuli haraihu muno na maundu tuikana na uthungu miaka nginya thĩ gathira.
There are some positive, we are trying to readjust thrown a system where twatigirwo ni mukoroni ndiraruta wira, so there is that debate. That's why you see all these changes.
Wenda kuga githomo giki turathoma nginya kĩrĩa ndĩrathomire ni kĩa Mũthũngũ.
Of course,
nginya gĩaku.
Of course, but you have to first and foremost discover, to self-discovery, you have to discover something called ignorance. If you don't discover it, then you never fight it. Yes, you have to fight to discover ignorance for you to get knowledge. That's the problem. You cannot search for something you have not discovered. So for you to discover knowledge, you must first discover how ignorant you are. Then start looking for knowledge. You look for knowledge through research. Knowledge is very expensive. But ignorance is very easy. Tell a story. Niliota jana, alafu nikaambiwa tuende Shakahora, watu waende Biguri. People wanafuata because it's easy. But it's ignorance, extreme.
Ado matienda gwiciria kana ni thina wa Africans niki.
It's not Africans. Human beings did not evolve to think because they evolved, but we say they were created without evidence. But the evidence that we have is that life evolved from East Africa.
Yes.
And then spread to the rest of the continents. And during those, in the last 400,000 years, that's the actual history we have. That's what is. You go to National Museum, it is there.
Yes.
But people don't go there. They don't even know.
Yeah, of
course there are very many stories. Why do we have so many religions?
Yes.
And we have 4,000 denominations. What for? If it was only one story, we would only have one story. If it is water, we say water is made of H2O. Whether you are in Mars, whether you are in London, whether you are in Kagisha, wherever, water is water. That is universal. Even and that is what we call spiritualism. Spiritualism is about our connection with nature.
Yes.
It is about the critical questions of life. Of course, religion is the answer. But religion you can answer in a way you say, niliota, nilifanya nini?
Na tunafuata.
So humans like stories because you know there was time when we were gatherers. We were looking hunter-gatherers. And we have evolved from far. Even here we used to live in forests. Hata hii nyumba kama hizi 100 years they were not there. Yes. It was a bush.
Tumete kuraihu.
Yes.
Tumete githaka.
Yes.
Kureithia ng'ombe na
Anataka kureithia, we used to be tutakire mihaka. We used to move from, we have said the Bantus moved from Nigeria, from Congo. That means we are going everywhere you go, you find traces that we have been moving around the Africa.
Conversation ino twage nawe ri tando ti conversation dida meigua hado de meigua nawe ri yaga kukorwo kuo niki. What do you think so?
It's because of our education system teaches us about ignorance and to serve the master, not to think. The purpose of education is for you to think, to solve your problem. But the colonialist can never give you anything of value that will ever help you.
Na muthungu tondu ni atigire atu hari na nita succeed na nirathi na mbere na guka tondu aigihitai na ginyagia bururi witu wa Kenya ungirora wega muno ginyagia ngombo iria tuthia gukomba tutegemea Trump ni araugire ndagucoka guteithia ukona ginya ni kwagea na shake up gwakinyire ha ginya as a country tutirehota riu tutige na ithuĩ ta Africa as a country bururi mugima twehokete andu aria
we were set up to be dependent.
Kai no tokombago.
You see, we are the one who are wealthy. Mundu ageia ng'ombe yaku ri mwena uria ungi mugundu uria ungi akaia ng'ombe yaku igaciara akwendagiria iria uria akwenda ri. That's what is happening.
Iria rire ni dito.
Iria ni, yes. Why is it that Europe is in Africa? America is in Africa, Russia is in Africa, China is Africa, Japan is in Africa. Why? Niki malaika go Africa.
Niki malaika.
Africa is wealthy. They are stealing our wealth, and we are allowing them because they have conditioned us mentally, oppression through casualization of the wrong dogmas. They have conditioned. We are victims of conditioned ignorance. That's the problem.
Do you think our country ama kana geria go put Africa re?
Yes.
Nigetha twehatũre thĩna-inĩ ũtukoro wanaguo wa gwĩciria ithuĩ atĩ nginya for example our president nĩ arauga atĩ mũthome mũthiĩ wĩra Dubai mũthome Germany nĩ kũrendwo andũ a kũhata kũu menye andũ matihataga nĩ matongire nĩ kũrendwo andũ a gũthambagia andũ akũrũ kũu kwĩna kothire gũkũ tũgĩthamagia ndeto ĩno wamĩrora wega as a mu Africa wonete kũraihu na Ngai agũkũrathima discussion ũgetekera kũrora reality discussion yendetwo mũno tondu hana ũmenwo nĩ andũ aingĩ mũno hata kũrĩ mũhunjio gũthikĩrĩirie aigua harĩa ũkĩire hakũmene na you don't fear. The point is nigetha tume thĩna-inĩ ũyũ hasarĩ, do you think twĩna thĩna nginya wa atongoria aitũ tondu atongoria aitũ nĩ mahũthĩkaga gũtũneana leadership kwambia area headman?
You know, there is something called 360 degrees, the vicious cycle of problem or poverty or negativity. Atongoria mathuragwo no
no Wanjiku.
So
ũratwa mũcere
ko Wanjiku arĩ na problem le, then the people get the leaders they deserve. So but and I told you that when we got independence, the system was managed, and the first generation of leaders in Africa and all the colonies in the world were micromanaged to continue perpetuating the colonization. Even if they give political freedom, they didn't give you economic freedom. And without economic freedom, you
cannot political freedom.
Yeah, just to make noise, but it's because but even to perpetuate the ideas, because they are the one who are teaching us. If the education system is what socializes us, so if you are socialized to be a French citizen, you become a French citizen, speak French. They think you are very great because you are able to go to Paris.
Yeah.
But the point is that you are stealing your legacy, your freedom. Everything about you is being stolen. Your culture, your tradition, your language. You become you are a slave. Exactly. Yes, it starts there. Even of course, even changing the name. Changing the name.
The citizenship.
Yes, changing the name from like me, I'm called Ben. If I knew what I knew today when I was being baptized, definitely I would have been baptized an a Kikuyu name.
Karaoke.
Something like that. Not the oil, but
mathina ma twina muri na ni utuma mundu thia kwaria nawe ngambia gwiciria riu ngona miaka magana meri mihituku ngona ta hari andu matuikirie irima.
Yes.
Niki kiratuma tuthamie manpower itu mabururi mangi no moke gukuthie tumandike.
These are
na ithu betu tuli andu a moko a muthungu.
No. The status quo we are in today was deliberately created by the colonizers. Deliberate to subjugate it. And
are we foolish?
We are not foolish. We are victims of colonization. And that is why we need to rediscover ourselves and deconstruct our power. Because the African person, genetically, is extremely powerful. And it is very scaring to the white people.
I want us to take a short break. Ndira tuthie break hii na tugicoka ndenda tugerie gwiciria which are these ways cia rediscover tukwimenya atia tukumenya hinya witu atia njira ici ni ta iriku twambie na Wanjikuria we hare uratue macani ututhikiriirie hari mundu umire gutwira ng'ombe tuthikiriirie na ikarite hau eteire mutongoria amonie njira amwira left tau thaici kwina kiruhuo gikuo andu marauga twi mwena wa ng'ania twi mwena wa fulani mawacoka makore mari irima andu maracoka kwirira muno na is a trend ramenya kurera uma Africans as Kenyans andu mambie kuga ni sorry after irima na rona ni irima so tukwimenya atia tugutumira njira iriku kwi discover from where ututhikiriirie ucenjio ciongi na nigetha hakiri citu ri very bad ya gotwa colonizerwo na tukimisirido ni andu aria ni andu taigana acio matwikiri uguo.
You see, the people who were the first generation of leaders in Africa.
First generation.
Where were they educated? They were imathomeire ku kiria ko twari na tutanaheo independence mathomaga kuna kana mathomithagio no mathomaga syllabus yao ya mu Africa kana ya muthungu
mathomeire ya muthungu.
Exactly.
Thina witu wambiria.
Yes.
Twathie break tuke twathie break tuke.
Yes.
Tugata kikirigene kuri o ukigurira ngari njirwa kana ngari huthire na hukurehero ngari njiru shua Wanga Ventures tukurehe motungata maya mothe uhaurie wikinyike wanjini gitu kia wendi wa ngari hari cikutanyirie wicagurire iria gukenia na guthogora turengete fiu oho tukoragwo na motungata ta Wanga Insurance Consultancy, Asset Management, Digital Speed Governance, wendi wa gas cia kuruga kuria tukurehagira uhari urie no tukoragwo na kawo cia kiriu na cyber services. Tucerere kana utuhure thimu kugira namba 0725 204 131 kana 0708 280 988. Tucerere ona yotorithi yaku. Nikureto kiuria kuria ungikirirwo design cia gikiro kia iguru na thaka nguini ciaku. World Fashion and Design tuli haha tuheanaga motungata ma designer dresses, uniforms, corporate shirts, African wear shirts, ladies and gents suits, bridal lineup wear na curtains. Marĩ maitũ nĩ mabacĩrĩre ũrabatara gũtũkora o harĩa ACK Plaza ground floor room number 5 kana ũtũrĩre thimũ kũgerera 0714725782 Warren Fashion and Design, the fashion house.
Naitwa James Gitonga, nimetoka pande ya Othaya. Niko hapa kama mshindi, nimekuwa nikicheza 3 kwa muda, nikapata chance ya kucheza, nikashinda 100k. Wenye hawajacheza ama hawaiamini, wajaribu kucheza hii game, it's true, na watapata kushinda kama yenye nimeshinda ama beyond, na hiyo pesa itanisaidia kwa studies zangu kama a student of a college. Mimi kama mshindi na jinsi nimefurahi sababu itanitoa mahali na itanisaidia kufaulu. So nasema kwa wenye wajicheza watie bidii, wajaribu na watafanikiwa kufaulu kuicheza na watashinda.
Vuna chapa leo na tatua tatu. Ingia kwa M-Pesa paybill number 150 account
Hota.
Amount ni shilingi 10 hadi shilingi 1000.
Over 18s only. Gaming can be addictive.
Thank you so much. Itwacokereria ndina county secretary Benjamin Gashishio. Ukora ni mutaramu, is a scientist, ni mundu ukiwe maundu maingi muno, ni wiguire maundu maria turageria kwaria. Turageria kuyuria maundu maya turagerera maumire nako. Ni aya maturoririe njira ya tagirire. Hihi ni tweka maundu ria magirire. Andu aingi mokiraga, by the way kwina trend. No gukira ni ignorance, kiuthire kiugira. People are ignorant. Kwamberia nginya ni tondu ndeka mathabu nani andu matiyetikira gwiciria maundu maya tureka maumire nako. Hihi ni njira iriku tungihũthĩra kweheria ignorant na andu metekire gwiciria tondu andu aingi ni colonized, reke njuge andu ni ma colonizirwo itawoha kindu na skuru iyo na tinyititio guthii kumiohora atohe ringi tari radio ndeciria nginya no werwo mathege ni andu kuri maundu ngika thaa ici.
Yes.
Andu moe mathege no after 20 years andu mauga haya mundu atuagira mathege undu ugaga.
Let me give you a story, a very small story. Ũngĩnyita nyoni ikaraga kũrĩa igũrũ, ũmĩige rumu teno, ũmĩohe na karigi, ĩikare ĩmenyere. Ono kametwarĩra irio, kametwarĩra maĩ no wageria kũmbũka nĩ njohe, yageria kũmbũka nĩ njohe. It will reach a time mũthenya ũrĩa ũkamĩhora karigi kau ndikombuka tondu ni atuikire conditioned ati ni njohe. That is exactly what the colonialists did to us. They have given us dogmas of lies. We have, when it is repeated and repeated, we believe it's true. It's not true.
Ohoro wigi culture to ni nyenda kumenya na ni igua andu makiuga ndukarie cia kaca ona kuri ni ndehaga athuri a kiama haha every Thursday ta rucio ni ndehaga athuri a kiama magatwira ohoro wigie unduire wa Mugikuyu tukageria kwiyuria wathiaga atia Mugikuyu aruaga atia ni kireito ya maundu na nginya makauga ati magongona Mugikuyu ni ekaga magongona kuri magongona twekaga magutigirira mugundo kigurwo hari igongona rikagwo na andu mambitie gucokerera tondu maundu maingi maria marari andu nginya uhoro wigie ndwari andu ni marambia kwimenya ni kanu racio hihi gatathire akagirire. So my question is, ukirora wega uhoro wigie Kikuyu community which is our strength kana hinya witu ukorwo uri kuhasa tondu andu aingi matire maremenya.
Thank you Mwana Ithaka. Number one is that I don't like to discuss the tribal issues, but whatever I'm discussing is also about generally Africa, because Africa was targeted by colonizers. Ndakwira uhoro wa
tukiohona karigi takanyoni kare
tukiohona karigi
riu turi ohore na tutiromboka
kuma 1884 Berlin conference
neho karigi kohiro
neho tuoheirwo na tukiambiriria riu what the impact you see today started there. But the history of the African liberation, of both the mental and physical, is one of great resilience. Maybe many people don't know. There is a book called The British Gulag. The British Gulag. G-U-L-A-G. Gulag was a system in Russia during the Stalin time, dictatorship of Stalin, where people went for total extermination. You are jailed in Siberia and you never come back. So the British also came up with a Gulag system here, which was called the pipeline in Kenya. And the pipeline was a program which was put rehabilitation, but it was not really rehabilitation, it was extermination of the Kikuyu people. And the question was, what is the Kikuyu question? How do we deal with the Kikuyu people? Just like Hitler asked the Jew question, how do we eliminate the Jews? So there was also the British question of the Kikuyu question. Because when the Muzungu came here, they never thought they would ever leave this country. So the question was, how do we eliminate these people without here? Just like they eliminated the black people in America. So there was a Kikuyu question. So the British Gulag was a program to eliminate the Kikuyu without anybody raising questions. So they designed detention camps. A series of detention camps. Makanyita do igana rimwe, magatoro detention camp ya Embakasi. Makarutithio wira wa kwenja airport fiti igana rimwe na moko. Aria magu survive wakua 50, maga survive 50. Aria ma survive 50, magatwarwo Manyani. Gikuyu. Yes. Teke hatukeira mathina maingi ate. Wakikagwo Musako Nairobi andu othe gukero Gikuyu Embu na Meru. Musako. People don't read. British yada akienda go matiendaga tuthome history yo. Our curriculum is set by the same colonizers, so they don't want us to know the truth. Na mafukuma mageta kwa shukuru neke ta Chiga boys, Karima boys, they can't. Othaya boys, library. They can't because these are byproducts of the colonizers. They can't. And this is one of the thing I like to say, although it doesn't really. I know people don't like it. Religious institutions are important. We agree. We have no issue with the religion, but they should keep off from running schools, because that's where the problem starts. Religious institutions, yes, we have no problem with them. Organized, it's called organized religion. Organized. So kore kanitha kore shukuru wetagwo wa ID, shukuru witu no ICK, taida thomeire Kiamuya. Kiamuya is for ACK. Yes. No thia shukuru for example wa Magana ukaigua ni ID. Kuringana nawe shukuru cifati ukosi cia kanitha uriku. Kanitha omwe. What I would support. Ugithi Kiamuya wekira musilimu ri. Urege support. Yes. Let us respect religion, but let us divorce it from governance. If you go to the American Constitution, because we borrowed most of our constitution or the American Constitution, it is very clear, the Constitution, that religion is separate from governance. You don't mix the two. It's like oil and water. Yes, you don't. No. You cannot pray in an American school. No, you can't. I was an Anglican church. I was brought up in Anglican church myself. So Korea, America, no, there is no sponsorship. Religious institutions cannot sponsor a school in US. It's illegal. It's against the Constitution. You do. The issue is that, let me give you the. Yes. I wish we had more time. Human beings believe in two realities.
human beings.
Yes, that's the nature of human beings. Human beings believe in subjective and objective realities. I will explain that. Let me give you an example. The human being, all mammals, all animals live objective reality of trees. They know water, they know mountains, they know everything physical. All animals. And human beings are also animals. Don't forget that.
Yes, we are animals.
Intelligent animals. But because the human being is intelligent, it has dual reality, unlike other animals. Let me give you an example. I know you like sports.
Too much.
No benefit sports.
Acha.
Why? Why can't they imagine and have a football game? Why can't they have a football game? Or a netball game? They can't imagine. They don't have that capacity. So football is an imagination. It doesn't exist. Money is an imagination. It can't imagine. So the reason why humans are very progressive is because of the capacity to imagine things that don't exist and turn them into reality and live them. For example, you can form a company called GTN and then it becomes real and you live it, but it has not always been there.
Yes.
It was an imagination.
You imagine.
Tomorrow you can change it and call it something else. It can change.
Yes.
That is the good thing about human imagination, including government. Government did not exist. Even Kenya did not exist before 1920. There was no country called Kenya before.
1920?
No. It became a colony in 1920, became independence in 1964. Before that, there was no Kenya. Did it exist? It was created through stories. We created Kenya. Uganda did the same, whatever. The point is, if we want to change Kenya tomorrow,
yes,
we can change it because it was man-made. Imagine, we can change it and become East Africa. East Africa nation. Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. Kenya no longer, Tanzania no longer, Uganda no longer. We have East Africa. We will change it, and it will change. And Kenya will never be there again. Uganda will never be there again. The problem with the imagined realities that cannot be changed, like religion, that's what the problem is, because they are divine. That is why the Israelis and the Hamas and the Iranians are fighting to death, because huyu anabelieve Abraham alisema hii, huyu anasema Abraham alisema hii, because they are divine. They are not. They cannot be changed. That is where the danger is. And that is what we were given by the colonizers, the European religions that we cannot change. They can't change us. How can you today, 3,000 years, be thinking the same way with Abraham, who
we have never seen?
Who
3,000 years.
Who dreamed 3,000 years? And at that time, the level of knowledge Abraham had is not more than what a standard 7 today knows. And he was still thinking in the mindset of that person and driving you in the age of nanotechnology. Then you ask you what is wrong with us? Definitely. And that's why the Gen Z are saying, I think we are living in a sick society.
Gen Z roka.
Yes, they can't accept that because now they have access to mutandao. Mutandao, they have knowledge from all over the world.
Mutandao unaweza kukusaidia mujenzi
kumenya. Of course, they have everything.
Mamire na
and they are not even local. They are international.
The Gen Zs.
Yes. What they know today, if I knew what the Gen Z today knew, if I knew that during my age that time, I think I would be a very different person.
Do you think Gen Zs can change this country?
No, they have votes. So they have votes. They can change. It is the world belongs to them. Yeah, they can change. They have a right to change.
Na wewe warora bega uhoro wigie mindset ino itu twa na nwageria kuhutia kama no uhoro wigie haria twatigirwo tutietekera gucenjia 3,000 years.
Gen Z will change.
3,000 years.
Yes, sometimes it's
haria muciari wakwa atigirwo.
I gave you the issue of the bird that was tied. That's where we are.
Kanyoni kaya kwa
Yes,
wetu.
you can't change. So Gen Z will change us with nanotechnology.
Nika kuoboka leo kanyoni kaka.
Yes. At least the Gen Z now were birds that were coming and telling, see, you are free, you fly. But
Can you fly?
No, I can't fly. I was tired.
Tukirora wega mwana litwa, let me read the comments kwena andu ndirona makindikira comments haha. Hene mundu witagwo Mr. Kiroki, morning wa ithaka. Ithia muthuri ucio witagwo Ben kiuria kia mbere umuria uhoro wa kuna watu wanauliza you talk about the youth polytechnic ya Kagongo na mundu endo hutia hau no ni ajira ati ni urashira wega andu ni makwenda macenjie mwiciririe na mwikira wa maundu. Asante sana Reverend Mwangi Kireaini. Sio netago Reverend Mwangi from Kireaini. Na macenjie mwiciririe wa maundu kwina ginya Reverend woka mitambo-ini. I want to read Nwagi mundu wetagwo Jerry Bemba all the way from Nyeri town. You know the guy?
I know him.
Nyeri town ye mitambo-ini. Ari jamba itagwo Sultan all the way from Nairobi anasema he is watching. Ndamwona kule kundu gwitagwo Othaya yetu. Hena mutagwo Jackson Derry tuned from Wamunyoro. Ucio ari wa Munyoro. Na yuko kundu gwitagwo Wamunyoro. The famous village.
Yes.
Tuned in from Wamunyoro.
Yes.
Charles Wamatha, wow, our county secretary, man of vast knowledge and wisdom. Mugeithie muno. Charles Wamatha. Yeah. The man of vast knowledge and wisdom. Na hasha Mungora, salimia mzee wa kazi.
Mungora is the PA to the governor.
Anauga ate salimia mzee wa kazi.
He's a very intelligent man. You know, he's doing PhD now. Yeah.
PhD?
Yes, Mungora is doing PhD.
Ah, nice.
A young man who is...
PhD?
Yes.
Mungora?
Yes.
Ndiguite kiwati ni agutuika deputy governor wake na ndi ndikani gukirariro.
Well, why not?
Juria wa Wanjiko ali mheshimiwa ali mwenyere.
Yes.
Juria anasema Wanjiko's representative. Salimia yeye sana.
They call me Wanjiko because in Nyeri County, I told you, His Excellency the Governor, we are focused on Wanjiko. And he says, his governor says, kama haisaidii Wanjiko wachana naye.
Yes. Jackson Gatia, muongerere time. Tego Jackson Gatia, uongezewe time. Mashabiki niguo marauga ongerera time na yatiro ne nyitire muno kethome comment ingire haha ugo kure GTN TV Digital. Jackson Wasiaboga watching DJ Talker from Nyeri Scooter nasema he is watching. Wow, very informative, epic and truthful. Mesha Karaoke, very informative, epic and truthful. Adona mabia kuhinguka meciria. Amenya ha tungicenjia ndo 10 no macenjia ndo ingimu. Toto ina thina wale skuru ino tuohirwo ri no skuru yohirwo.
We have to unbound it.
No yenyitorio.
Yeah.
Not aciari tukwambia na Gen Z. Aciari matingi ni makujita. Atuwe jere mekuria kiano na kuria Munyage.
Everybody has a role. Everybody has a role. Of course, change is slow, but everybody has a role, and people change. People have changed because if you don't change, the environment. Let me give you an example.
Yes.
And I ask this simple question today, Mr. Waithaka. If you find somebody who has no mobile,
a mobile phone,
umuthi
murutare thimu,
ugakora mundu ucio
ndari haraihu na maundu,
mundu ucio ukumwiciria atia
ona hari muyuthi ndiracemania nake atari na thimu ya taci ndiamurete mwanake we nduri na thimu ya taci uratumira kamurika riu ni ukona mundu ucio ona ndira wewe haraihu na mutu
no riu acia ni andu anini. No, even my grandmother, my mother ni ari na thimu. So at least change, positive change, but it should be slow. It should not be forced.
Uhoro wigie elective political leadership. We ni wenda kurugama giti na wa kurugama niki tondu we no kuri mutongoria jeni wa kwiciria kurugama giti niki kia muigi kana Wanjiko ndangi
I have many people asking me that question. They keep on asking. In fact, the other day there are some young people who came to my office and they told me that vile Gen Z wanasema wanataka wewe usimame. Nikawambia, really me, I have no political ambition, and I stopped this deliberately more than 25 years ago. I said, I think even what I do today, I am not an elected person, but I think I serve the people.
Yes.
And my joy is serving the people with the leaders who understand, who you share common vision, a common dream of serving the people.
Yeah.
And it's really enjoyable when you have leaders who listen and they guide, they make decisions, and when there are problems, they solve it. You feel satisfied.
But how do you feel?
Yeah.
Uthuritwo mundu ni andu wathikirie kiongo kia mundu ucio kaigua mundu kiongo gikiri hai muno na leadership ni athurirwo na kura nyingi muno no wathikiririe ta mundu uthirukite bururi na mundu wikarire senior positions like county secretary, you have been a DO, no mundu le waji kwathura thinacara ri mundu ucio kiongo hatiri kindu. How do you feel gutongoria mundu tana kindu kiongo? Wiguaga atia?
It's very sad. It's very sad, and personally I don't think. The reason why I am happy in Nyeri is because I work with leaders who understand. You know, my governor is a PhD, and he's a very intelligent person, very somebody who reads, and I find happiness in serving with people who understand the aspiration of the people. The problem when we have leaders who do not work for the people, the question must also go back to the people who are electing them.
Yes.
Why do you take money from somebody who cannot serve you, then you complain for 5 years? Why do we take people to school? We have very many educated people. They don't necessarily have money, but they can be good leaders. Yes.
So my question is, wajikunu athure mundu utamuhete meri kulingana na research yako?
That is one of the mindset that
na mashuka
they have to change.
Kotangirio kule mashuka turere mukimahema makobi kwamba kugena mutongoria mwana ndogenda ko import mashuka China.
I am not going to. In fact, I told those young people, I told those young people, if you want me to, don't try to force me to go to politics. But if you really need me to be in politics, number one, let's have an MOU. That you will not, I will not pay a coin. And then I'll guarantee that none of your money will ever get lost. Let's have that MOU.
Agent Merutere, police station.
I will not use money. I never use. I never. No, we are empathetic. You know, when somebody is sick, for example, you contribute to your social issues the way you can. But also there is a trend. I have noted that people misusing donations for their personal interest. That one is a dangerous trend. But when there is genuine need, mtu amemaliza insurance, amemaliza mgonjwa ni nini, that one you should, as an empathetic person, as a person who cares and compassion, you must be able to participate, because hata wewe unaweza kuwa mgonjwa na unataka usaidiwe. No riu andu aria egari na atongoria aria egari matendaga kwihaka ndoro na magana ma meriri metigira kurugama na makurugama ri bũrũri witu ni ukahona mwarekereria magana mere mara. I agree with you, that is where the problem is, but I know people who have tried to join politics and they are very good people. I don't want to name them, but they are there, but they don't go anywhere. I remember one professor who was very revolutionary, who tried to get a position in Muranga.
Yes.
And he had extremely good ideas.
Yes.
And people are telling him, "Ucio ni mwedia deru dalikanya mwarutaga."
Daruka akido.
No deru aturehagira guku. That's the mindset. I remember also in Nairobi.
Yes.
There was a manager, a very good technocrat.
Yes.
I don't want to name his name, but people know him, who wanted to be the governor. So he went to Nairobi preaching to people the vision, his dream and vision of Nairobi. They rejected him and chose somebody else who was a Jerobad.
Yes.
And of course, you can see the mess we are in today.
So, your message to Wajiko, na tugitiri handed or hutu horowegie Kagongo Youth Polytechnic, Wajiko arauga kana wena kaundu geugeria andu ni anogu aria Kagongo. What is the problem? Kana macokio haria barotini maroge ihetia?
Polytechnics are managed by our Department of Education. I am not. That issue has not been brought to my attention. I could have been able to we could have been able to look at it. But I would advise them to see waziri anaitwa Margaret Wageshi, who is the CEC for education.
Yes.
She should be able to handle that issue. She is quite dynamic,
yes,
and very progressive. And it has not come to my attention.
Yes.
We could have been able to solve it. The good thing with Nyeri, we have a listening leadership. We listen.
Yes. About Tugitiriha Todero, our time is up. Our county secretary. President Nirashera, ukwenda andu mahuriro heo kai kana andu matikahure. Ukiririkana kuria kwa Nyushiga ni ahingurire mai ma Chagashisha magiiteka ndeka 10 makihora. Ni kwina Othaya Stadium andu ni mereirwo guku Othaya ndire yakwo ni atengetwo kwina thibitari ya level 6 yereirwo MRI CT scan ndire yoka. Wonu waku ni ndaiguire Othaya ni kurakwo thoko na ndirari uhoro wigi Othaya to ni kuo umite na ndungigithama guku ni gugwa kwa thoko ukimenyaga Moi wa Kibaki ni akire thoko nene muno Othaya ni kuri ngirongererwo na ni tengeirwo besha. Hi kuringana nawe thoko ni priority itura riri yaku?
Well, I am not familiar with
the siasa kanini. Anakodwa daga ndoro.
Ni ndirakunyita muno bwana Waithaka. Na ni uwe hari mundu woririe Jesu no wega turehaga igoti. Akamwira atia? Give to Kaisari what is Kaisari and give to God what is God. I would also say the same. Let us maintain peace and let us listen to... Kenya is a democracy. Let's listen to our leaders, all of them. Let us... What matters is decorum and respect for each other. People will check what you have done as a leader and judge you according to that. And that is the good thing about democracy, because it can't be changed. If the leadership is good, it can be kept perpetuated. If it's bad, it can be removed. That is the beauty of change. What matters to me is change management, because things will change. Do we perpetuate? Do we change? Even the issue of colonization, it must come through change. Yes. So,
Adama Kaumera.
I have no issue with the people myself. Let people exercise. Kenya is a democracy. You can't tell people what to do, not what to do. And that's the good thing is let them do what they want. As long as the only thing I would like for them to do is to maintain peace.
Yes.
But finally, you have the capacity to do to manage the change you want.
Yes.
Do it peacefully and progressively. Yeah.
Thank you for coming. Na andũ othe maraturora nĩ andũ aingĩ mũno marĩrĩra-inĩ andũ marauga atĩ ndereti ĩno no mende thiĩ biũ tondũ ũrahutia ini harĩa rĩagĩrĩire na andũ nĩ mambĩtie kũhĩga na nĩ rauga we are in the century tũtingĩtuĩka atĩ mĩaka 3000 tũreciria ta mũndũ wa mĩaka 3000 na hau tũbatiĩ gũkorwo ici twĩna mwĩkĩre wa maũndũ na andũ metĩkĩre gũcenjia na andũ mahũthie ngoro andũ tia kũmia kĩongo kũrĩ na andũ makorwo mastikĩte ndũngĩmũcenjia andũ metĩkĩre gũcenjia nĩgetha na ithuĩ bũrũri ũkũre. Camera is yours. Give thanks to the viewers as we wind up.
Thank you, my friend Mr. Waithaka. Nojere athikiriria aria mararora that Kenya is I am a Pan-Africanist myself. I believe that the way forward is to go back to creating an African sort of government, just like the Chinese. And let us also maintain peace. Whatever we do, peace is very important and very costly. People should look at what is happening in the Middle East, particularly between the Israelis and Iran. We are in a threat of a nuclear holocaust right now because of those two countries. We don't want that to happen in Africa. Africa we hana muiretu urenda kugurwo ni andu aingi. Chinese meguku, ask yourself niki marenda. Russia meguku, ask yourself niki marenda. America ere guku, ask yourself niki marenda. Britain, Europe, France, all the great powers are here. Muiretu niki marenda. When you urona muiretu uyu waku niki erekea njira-ini ka ni muiretu ngumagoro. Ask yourself that question, and that is what Gogo Wadiongo has been saying. Let us decolonize the mind and reconstruct Africa and make Africa great. na nä njega kå ririkania andå hĩndĩ ĩrĩa Africa andũ metagwo African Kemets, black people, black leaders marĩ na mũtongoria wetagwo Farao ũrĩa mũthomaga arĩ mũndũ mũirũ tawe nani na arĩ kingi wa Africa ona gũtuĩka ikaraga Cairo hĩndĩ ĩrĩa makaga pyramid iria ikoragwo Giza tondũ ciakirwo nĩ andũ kũrĩa andũ maugaga ciakirwo nĩ andũ aliens is rubbish. It's what is called, that is perpetuated by the white could not believe at Africa was so developed. So since we reached that level, we were shows that we were great. We can make Africa great again. And we start with Nyeri, we start with Kenya, we start with ourselves. Africa can be great. Africa can actually be heaven. Thank you.
Morali to GTN TV, as our county secretary has said very clearly, Africa can be heaven. But ira depend na we wajiko. No thure mundu uria wagireire tondu ni hau niho ndiracoka kwambia MCA no nginyagia uheo meri. Mundu ekonda na mbeca cia ukama oborezi na ni mutongoria mwega no muthure. Kiu ni kiuria kinene muno mutongoria gwitwo mubunge nikuo bunge athondekagirwo mawatho. We warora wega we uthuranaga ri no mutuhe the right leadership maundu mahitia maria maige andu aingi mekaga nikio tukoragwo na atongoria gaturo kayaga. We have the right people. Mr. Benjamin Gashicio auga ndare na interest ya politics tondu ndare na magana meri nigetha hi akwa githurwo ndare na macuka mahi kuhe atimia nigetha kwa githurwo kwina atongoria ega aige matangithurwo bururi witu wa Kenya ni undu wa kunanie ni undu wa interest citu riria tukagea kigeranio kiu tumakirwo kitunyite 100%. Bururi wetagwo Singapore marutire manuscript goko as Benjamin has told us. Singapore tha ici tutinge makinyira nikuo tuthiaga benchmarking na manuscript ya umire Kenya ithuika tukoragwo tuhana ate miaka 3 turi haria twari ona indamaka angikorwo tigucenjia mwiciririe ri ona indauga Gen Z tuteithie tidani wega.